In this video, I'll show you how to generate a random universally unique identifier. Now, that can be quite complex and there are different libraries to do this, but in this video, I'm going to make the problem less complex so that you can understand it better. Let's get started. So I'm first going to declare a function, and this function is going to be named generate UUID. And here inside of it, I'll set a const of random stub. And it's going to be an arrow function, which will essentially set a random num to the value of math.ceil. And inside of here, I'm going to do new date and then value of. And next, on the next row, I'm going to say math.random plus 0.01 times, and let's just copy paste this row, and here I'm going to multiply to 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll explain later the logic behind all of this, but for now let's just keep going. And now return random num dot to string 16. Okay. Next, I'm going to set the variable of UUID to the following: random stub, and then I'm going to do slice -8, because each UUID follows a specific pattern, which I'll explain shortly. Then it's going to have a hyphen. And let's copy paste these rows a few times. Okay. So basically it's following the pattern of 8, 4, 4, 4, 12. Okay. And now that we've prepared it, we can console.log this UUID. And that should be it for our generate UUID function. So now let's test it out by invoking it. And indeed, as you can see, we're getting this random, or pseudo-random to be more exact, UUID on each function invocation. Okay, so now for the explanation of how this thing works. The random stub function has the purpose of generating a hexadecimal string based on a pseudo-random number. We start by obtaining the current timestamp using the new date value of, which gives the number of milliseconds since January 1st, 1970 UTC. And then I multiply this timestamp 2 times with math.random plus 0.01, and then I multiply it with 1, 2, 3, 4 to increase variance. Math.ceil is used to round up the resulting number to ensure that it's an integer, and finally the number is converted to a hexadecimal string using the toString 16 right here. So now for the UUID generation structure. First, we obtain a hexadecimal string from random stub, and then we use the slice -8 to get the last 8 characters, ensuring that this segment is at most 8 characters long. Then we repeat the same process to obtain strings, hexadecimal strings of 4 characters long 3 additional times, and finally another one that is 12 characters long. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we add a hyphen in between each of these stubs. So now finally, when we output using the console log, we get this string of random or pseudo-random hexadecimal characters. Okay, so while this is a interesting implementation, you need to be aware of the fact that this method does not ensure the uniqueness or conformity to the UUID standard specifications, that is the RFC 4122 specification. And also, the randomness is questionable because it's based on Math.random and the current time. And these two things might not be sufficient for non-critical. Well, they may be sufficient for non-critical applications, but it's not cryptographically secure. Okay, so that's pretty much it. A simple implementation of a UUID generator with some serious drawbacks, but at least you now understand, hopefully, more about generating UUIDs than you did before watching this video.